Welcome to episode 40 of the Whiskey and Whitetails podcast, coming at you hotter than a doe in mid-November.
Ooh,
welcome,
40.
Welcome to Monday, September 27th.
Welcome to Monday.
Yeah, welcome.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for allowing us into your home, your ears.
You're going to say, thanks for having us. Today, it's just us.
Yeah, it's just us. No guests today. We're going to recap some stuff that's been going on the last week, talk about what we got going on this weekend, maybe talk about some other things happening in the whiskey and whitetail space.
We're also going to do round 2 of the Heaven Hill Strike.
Yeah, that's right. We got some other things to cover.
Yes. Should be a hot popping episode. Lots of things to go over.
Yeah, should be good. What do you want to talk about this now?
Well, no, I was going to ask if you knew anyone, if you knew where I could get firearm or firearm accessories from anybody.
So I actually know some guys.
Yeah.
Over at Gun Monkey's Armory. I don't know if you've heard of them by chance. Yeah, but if you head over to shop.gmarmory.com, they have a plethora.
A wide range of selection.
A huge selection.
You think it's enough to supply America's firearm needs?
That's what they say they do, and I believe them.
I believe them too.
Go check them out. Use code whiskey to get $30 off the purchase.
Which is pretty good, if you ask me.
Yeah, likewise. On the same note, I have been looking for some things to decorate my office, particularly some whitetail photography. Any idea where I could find some of that?
Oh yeah, Dom got it. Yeah. You go to domgottaphoto.com, you can use code whiskey and get 20% off a wide range of whitetail prints.
Oh, I'll check that out.
And they're all on museum quality paper, Gus.
Museum quality?
Yeah.
Wow.
He can even set you up with frames, I believe. I've seen him post pictures in frames, so
sounds
I'm sure
good to
he
me.
can make it happen. This episode today is sponsored by, that was it, but it is powered by
Yeah, that's right.
Old Pepper Distillery. This is a single barrel rye that we got from the Gibby's Bottle Shop, and people on Patreon know a little bit more about this than most of you, but you don't have to get on there to go look. I didn't mean to do that, but that was cool.
That was cool. I was getting ready to ask if you've done that before because that was well planned.
So on the back it says, I want you to chug, and it's the Uncle Sam thing. Now I'll go ahead and pop it. Oh, that's a really good pop.
That was good. Solid.
Get you a glass, son. Yum. Glub, 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 glub. Oops, overpoured you. It's okay. All right. So, reason dose that I picked this. One was Patreon things. The other one was because when we went to Kentucky for the velvet hunt, shout out to Rocco, Camp, Hero, KY. We also went to the James E. Pepper Distillery, which was full of fun facts. One of which was that they were founded in 1780 and then burned down. And then I'm not going to ruin the whole tour for you, but several generations have passed, and Oscar Pepper built a new, larger distillery in the place that we went to, and you learn all about that place. But he hired James C. Crow, a chemist, to help him, none other than Old Crow. But they perfected a sour mash technique that is still widely used today. But here's the thing that I really wanted to talk about. But first, let's give this a smell. This is single barrel rye. Hey, it's not as peppery as I would think.
No, you still get some of those spice notes from the rye, but...
So their bourbon is fantastic. And this has a lot of perfume notes to it as well.
The floral?
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
Yep.
It smells good.
It smells like...
I get, when you get past the spice, like when your nose gets a little bit used to the kind of the ethanol, and then past that, the spiciness from the rye, I get like a toffee or butterscotch type. Yeah, anyways, it's good.
This tastes nothing like the Old Pepper rye that I had there. This is a very unique barrel pick. That is very sweet, bourbon heavy.
It is for a rye.
That's very interesting. And I had it before I recommended it to folks on our Patreon. I had it at Gibby's, and I liked it, and that's why I bought it.
Oh, okay.
And that's one of the reasons I've been recommending it. But I had forgotten how good it is, especially since I've been to the distillery and tried.
So you got to do a little try at your at Gibby's?
Yep.
Yeah, shout out for building relationships with your store owners.
Yeah, we talked about that in the last episode. So one thing I wanted to discuss was this is just a random thing that I found out. Well, I've learned it last night.
Oh.
So Andy, my wife, and I have this agreement where if one of us is going to do something, the other one will do something else instead of just sitting on the couch.
Okay.
So I was making dinner, and I was like, hey, go find something to watch, por favor. So she goes and turns, I don't remember what streaming service. I think it doesn't matter. And she found Bob Ross, Bob Rowe, the Dirty Jobs guy.
Oh,
Mike Rowe.
Mike Rowe, yeah.
So he had something called How Alcohol Saved the World, which there are multiple versions of that.
Yeah.
But she had found that, and I think it was a 3 or 4 part series, which we haven't watched the whole thing. But one of them, he was telling a story. And as he was telling the story, I was like, that's a pretty good story. I might remember it and tell it again later. And then kind of forgot, went to bed, brain resets. So fast forward to today, I was reading about Old Pepper. And Old Pepper told this story, but they left some pieces out that Mike Rowe had said, and Mike Rowe didn't mention Old Pepper at all.
Okay.
So this is the story, which I find extremely fascinating. So Ulysses S. Grant, he was known as a alcoholic. He had a drinking problem.
Yeah.
Right. So in his personal memoirs, he actually wrote down that he's just a lightweight. It's not that he's a drunk. He just can't hold his liquor. He drinks a little bit and he gets trashed. Right. So they had mentioned in the show his height, weight.
Yeah.
So I went and looked it up. He's 5'8", 135 pounds.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, he probably, which is taller than average for someone in that year.
Time frame, yeah, but
135 pounds, yeah, I bet he couldn't drink a lot, especially if they were pumping out 110 per.
Yeah, no kidding.
So some of Grant's critics stated that he was incompetent and a poor leader, despite the fact that he had 2 citations for gallantry and 1 for meritorious conduct in the Mexican-American War. And he went from a recruiting training job in April of 1861 to colonel in July, and then to brigadier general, the commander of the District Southeast Missouri Infantry in September. So in 1 year, he went from training guy to brigadier general.
Yeah.
Now, granted, we probably wouldn't have many people to pick. And I think a lot of people died in that time frame. But so on and so forth. He became president in 1869, served till 1877. So when these people came to Lincoln, they were like, so Lincoln didn't drink.
Yeah.
And they came to him and they said, hey, this guy's a drunk. We should replace him. You know what Lincoln said? I will read it. By the way, gentlemen, can either of you tell me where Grant gets his whiskey? Because if I can find it, I will send every general a barrel of it. Meaning that Grant's doing a good job. So if you think he's an alcoholic, whatever he's doing it just fine. But yeah, that was an Old Pepper. I was reading it on Old Pepper's website, preparing for this.
That's cool.
Just getting a little history. But I don't want to go any further into the distillery because it's such a cool tour that we might do it again.
Cool.
When we're there.
Yeah.
If we don't, we'll go somewhere else. But there's a lot of nifty things about that distillery.
Sounds cool, man.
This Old Pepper, not bad.
No, it's good.
So speaking of Kentucky, everybody will already know this because the time this episode comes out on Monday, but we are going to Justin's House of Bourbon for our podcast on Friday. We're doing one with Chief Mercer, and I'm working on another guy. I'm not going to say his name unless he texts me back while we're here, which he hasn't yet. Could have 2 podcasts coming out of Justin's House of Bourbon, but they also are doing a single barrel selection thing that's discounted this weekend while we're there, so we can look forward to that.
Oh, really?
And you guys already know that. Follow us on Instagram because we're going to talk about it while we're there, and we're going to shout them out during the show.
Awesome.
But yeah, so that's what we have going on. So let's shift second gear into part 2 of the Heaven Hill Strike.
All right.
So I'm going to pull up comments because I said that I would last time. But I want to note that this started September 10th. We were recording in the evening of September the 21st, so that's 11 days of strikeage.
Picketing.
And I have listened to a few people bring it up, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word, but I listened to a few other things talk about it and haven't really heard anything new. So I'm going to go off our comments and some of the stuff I wrote down. All right. One thing, we mentioned shareholders, family-owned is what I'm being told, so only the family's getting the profits, which is a fun thing to think about. But the most important thing that was said to me the moment of, like as soon as we posted it, this was one of the first DMs I got, I don't even know if it was a comment. It was a comment. was that their health insurance was canceled day one of the strike. And so this is what Heaven Hill said. They said, your current coverage will be reinstated as soon as the work stoppage has ceased, concurrent with the ratification of the new contract, and you have returned to work.
Wow.
I mean, it's during a pandemic, during these times, it's a little difficult to just taste, I don't know. That doesn't seem like they really want to meet in the middle.
Yeah, that's tough. I understand. I put my business hat on, and I understand a contract is a contract, right?
Yes.
And if you're no longer working for me and you no longer have an agreed upon contract with me, then I owe you nothing. At the same time, I believe in business, especially corporate business, there's got to be some room for being human.
They should also, as much as they preach family owned, all these distillers preach family owned.
Yeah.
That's not really something, or family owned, family ran, or however family owned, but only the family profits is really what people are telling us. And it seems as though you're not really their extended family. They don't treat you like family, because you wouldn't do that to family even if they were contracted. Maybe. I don't know. It's hard to say.
It's hard, man. It's not an easy, we can sit here and give our opinions all day long from behind these microphones, but.
Well, I mean, 400 people health insurance, that's probably not cheap.
No.
Well, I know it's not cheap because I can see what my employer pays for my contract, what they pay for healthcare. Mm-hmm. But I think it's the principle of the matter more than it is the financial side of it.
I agree.
But
so some of those people, like we talked about, have been there for 40 plus years.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think when you're dealing, and let's also, it's a union, right? You're dealing with unionized laborers and workers, employees. There has to be some understanding of how these things work, and there's a potential for a strike if there's not an agreement. And so then it seems to me that somebody, whether it's the union or whether it was Heaven Hill, maybe they didn't think this all the way through. I think Heaven Hill probably forgot the fact that hopefully all of these people are going to come back. Yeah, and that was kind of my leaning of it. Is I get it, it's business, but if you want these people to come back, which you do, because they're your skilled workers. I mean, think of how hard it would be to train another 400 people to do the job. So you want them to come back. So why would you? I mean, that just seems like a little. Yeah, like I think maybe and again, we're playing Monday morning quarterback for lack of better terms. But if I'm sitting on a board and I'm saying, okay, 400 people are gonna strike, and all those people are losing their health insurance, but we want them to come back. We want them to agree. Maybe we extend a bit of an olive branch. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the union has some way to cover that as part of their dues because they collect dues for these kind of things. I don't know what that covers, but
no one mentioned that. Let's go through the comments real quick. So it says, we've worked 7 days a week off and on for the time I've been employed there going on 18 years. It's not the working weekends we're against. It's the not getting overtime pay for working those weekends. And one of the other comments, which I wrote this down because I wanted to talk about it, was the guy said you would work like a normal 5 day schedule, 5 days, but you would get Tuesday, Wednesday off or Thursday, Friday off or Wednesday, Thursday off. You wouldn't get Friday, Saturday or Saturday, Sunday off.
Ever?
I didn't.
Well, I get it. I guess I'm just thinking
I'm just going off the comments we got and the little bit more that I've researched. One guy says record year in sales for the month of March 2020 and March 2021. Record sales for the year of 2020. They cut off our insurance. Thank you guys for the support. Thank you for the support. If you do a follow-up. The workers on strike have all had their health insurance canceled, and yes, their hourly pay is significantly less than the competitor distilleries in the region. Which one thing I wanted to say, there was a comment that was deleted.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wish people wouldn't delete comments.
I would. Yeah,
I understand. Like when sometimes you're in the heat of the moment, you type something out, and you're like, and you delete it. Like I've done that before too.
Yeah, I do.
But sometimes they're needed to force people to look at a different side of a situation.
Right. So I won't say this guy's name because I honestly didn't write it down. But we had gotten the response, and I was formulating a response to the response. So he was kind of complaining about some other things. But one of the things he said was, everybody keeps saying fair. What does fair mean? And my rebuttal that we talked about was, that's a subjective term. What's fair to me is not fair to you, is not fair to someone else. Sure. So fair wages was what he's particularly talking about. If 96% of the company says these aren't fair wages, then I would say that they need fair wages.
Sure.
What that number is none of my business. You don't want your neighbor to know what you make. You don't want people to know. That's nobody's business. But to the people that are on the ground doing the work, what's fair to them is not what they're getting.
Right.
So that's kind of the answer. I don't like. There isn't a number to assign to fair.
It's someone also brought up the point that this was said that they're not the least paid distillery, but they are the least paid union.
Yeah, in that region, which has been verified multiple times. Yeah, that was the other side of that that's probably what the reason he deleted it was for that part.
Yeah, and so I mean, it's you have to, as you said, there are a lot of things to consider when determining what is fair. Yes. Are you comparing what you're making to other places where there's not a union? Because that's not a fair comparison. That's a different work environment.
Right.
When you show up and you can, and I don't know what the Kentucky like labor laws are, but I understand it that as a union member, you show up to work and you can't just be fired because they don't want to have you there anymore.
Right. Which for
South Carolina, for example, is a right to work state. So I can show up to work tomorrow, and if they just decide they don't like the color shirts that I wear on Tuesdays, they can find a reason to fire me, and they don't have to provide justification.
I mean, that's why the jobs that we take,
I'm sure some attorney is going to tell me that's not a correct explanation.
Yeah, we get it.
But you understand.
It is a right to work, will to work state, and that you can be fired for literally anything. So some jobs pay more than others due to that.
Sure.
Enough about that. The other thing I wanted to say, cuts to overtime, the drastic scheduling. So this is what Matt Aubrey, the president of Local 23D, these are his 3 points. So healthcare price spikes that reduce take-home pay, cuts to overtime, drastic scheduling changes, work 5 days, have 2 days off, but non-traditional schedules, which was that Tuesday, Wednesday off.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the biggest gripes I saw in some of the comments in the articles is that folks are talking about this impact to their families.
Yeah.
Right? Ball games on the weekends with the kids, family trips. Like, it's really hard to plan that when a lot of the world revolves around Friday evening football games, Saturday and Sunday off, and you're taking that away from folks who've maybe been used to working that way for 20 or more years.
Right.
And now suddenly they have to change the way that they've structured their lives.
Yeah, I agree. The other thing too is scabs, just to go over the term because a lot of people haven't heard it. So they brought scabs in. Scabs is it's just someone who works for a company while the workers are on strike. And there's, it's just people making money, maybe give them a little break. I understand. I read things that y'all were booing at them and stuff. I get it. Frustrations are high. Just remember, people are people. Everybody has a reason, I don't really know where my opinion is on that, but people are people.
Well,
I mean, Heaven Hill, I hope that this all gets resolved quickly, is my point.
Yeah, me too.
I hope it gets resolved quickly. And historically, strikes have usually unfortunately, the bigger guy usually wins, which sucks, but I hope it gets resolved quickly. I mean, good luck to y'all. And thank you guys for reaching out and telling us, setting us straight in some of the stuff and leaving comments.
Yeah.
And we still stand with you. There's still no Heaven Hill products in here, and I haven't bought any.
And continue to shoot us messages as things change. We'll provide little updates. It's interesting to us, and I know we've had several listeners reach out and extend sort of their support and their interest in what's going on as well. So
we've had a lot of feedback on it. So if you want us to keep everybody updated, just let us know. We have no problem doing it.
Yep.
All right. I think I'm done with this. On to last week. So we did you bring the award? Oh, it's right over there. It's all right. We don't need it.
I can go get it.
We got an award.
We did.
And you met the mayor.
I did.
And he said, "What's
cool,
up, bro?"
Cool turkey call, he said.
Did he?
Yeah. So let's talk about what the award is.
Yeah, now that you know.
Yeah. It is basically, pardon my hydration.
Yeah, it's like sneezing or yawning. Now I need hydration.
Basically, so our participation in the historic Charleston market as a company that makes, almost everyone there has to make, it's all handmade stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then every year they recognize.
Also, before we go to that, there's a selection process. You can't just go to the Charleston market and sell stuff. No. You go to a trial, they look at your stuff and they like it or they don't. And then
before that you apply and they screen your information to even before they even invite you for the trial.
Right.
So it's
pretty difficult to get in. It's not just a farmer's market where anyone can go. Because the only reason I say that is because I used to see, living here, I would see the Charleston market and be like,
yeah.
But now that I realize,
folks paid their money to come and they can do whatever they want. And that's not at all the way it works. They work
very structured.
They work very hard to cultivate a collection of vendors that provides a very unique experience to Charleston. You won't find a lot of duplicate vendors that are selling the same things.
Right.
Maybe close, but usually there's enough of a difference that they are comfortable
setting them
apart, or they'll set them in different buildings.
Multiple photographers, right? They're not all taking pictures of the same thing.
Right, no, different styles. But you're not going to see 5 people doing the same thing that we do.
Yeah.
Anyway, so once a year, they take all the vendors and they provide an award. They give an award and recognition to those who are by the market certified as handmade or handcrafted products. And so for that event, they do a big kickoff kind of thing. It's a special night market on a Thursday because it's usually only Friday or Saturday. And the mayor comes through with his wife and family, and they come through and talk with each of the vendors that are being awarded, talk about their products, what they do. It was a really cool experience. It was weird to do a market on a Thursday night. You know, like we kind of have schedules and we're used to on a Friday or Saturday night, like in my mind, it's always a possibility. So it's not unusual on a Friday or Saturday night to find myself there. It just feels kind of part of the deal at this point. But on Thursday, that's like one of our usually days we don't have a lot going on unless we're recording. So it was weird to be there.
Knowing you got to get up and go to work tomorrow.
Yeah, I think Charleston as a city also thought it was kind of weird because people were walking through at night like, this is not usually like this. It's kind of weird.
Is it Friday?
But the mayor was really, really nice. Mayor Tecklenburg and his wife were very, very kind. They asked about the company and kind of what we do. I explained, making things out of bourbon barrels and whiskey barrels geared towards the whiskey drinkers and the outdoorsman and the hunter. Showed some of our products. He was really taken, people for some reason are really taken by our turkey calls, the pot calls. I think it's because it's something that not a lot of people see. And when they see turkey call, I think also people aren't sure what it's for. So anyways, to make a long story short, I received the award, talked with him a little bit. He's very nice. Took some pictures.
We gave him a gift.
I gave him a smoking block and some everything that goes along with that. And we took a picture with him holding the turkey call upside down, which is kind of funny, and his wife holding a striker like it's I don't know. It's a funny
like a magic wand.
It's a funny picture when you look at it.
Have you seen it?
The picture?
Yeah.
You sent it. I was able to look at him. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see.
Oh, you didn't look through him?
No, I know.
Yeah. It's pretty funny. It's a good picture. It's cool to see our setup and with the mayor in the market.
Yeah.
But it's funny to see him holding the.
Nice. So, I'm going to post that soon.
All right, cool. But that night you couldn't be there. You were doing something else.
Yeah, I was doing we had our first whiskey and cheese tasting, which was so much fun. It was, it's hard to explain. Like you listen to people talk about, I guess comedians, when comedians they're on stage and they're like to have a captive audience and you stop talking and the room's silent.
Yeah.
Like to have people captive in what you're talking about. Because just the passion comes out.
Sure.
Our classes are not what most whiskey classes are. They're way different. But just talking and then gathering my next thought, and everybody's like on the edge of their seat. Mm-hmm. So when the whole thing was over, everybody loved the cheese. Ashton did a great job. It was so much fun. And then at the end, I was like, all right, because we were all a little buzzed up, So sure. I was like, all right, this is my last thing that I need you guys to do for the tasting. And it's going to help me get more business. And I pulled up my phone, I went to Instagram and clicked the story button. And I was like, did you guys have fun tonight? And they were like, like we erupted.
Oh,
and I was like, would you do this again? And they were like, and
that's what didn't post?
Yeah, and it didn't post.
Oh, man.
I should have done it through like regular
just
camera.
Like a video? And
my phone.
Man.
Screwed up.
Lesson learned.
Yeah, next time. But it was a lot of fun. They had a ton of fun. And then I asked the
coordinator, the events.
There's a cool word for that. The lady that runs the thing.
Okay.
So the girl that set it up for us, I asked her, I was like, how did it go compared to the last time that we did one there? And we had a couple repeat guests.
I noticed in some of the pictures there were some folks that looked familiar from when we did it the first time. Yeah.
And she said that those folks were like, this was better than the first one.
Oh, cool.
And they were like, this was really good. But everybody had an awesome time.
Cool.
And the setup and teardown was easy. And then we went to Magalon and had some Spanish tapas.
So you were able to make it where you wanted to go on time or no?
1 minute. I had 1 minute left. Walked in the door.
I'm sure they were thrilled.
No, they didn't care. They knew what we were doing, so it was.
Oh, okay.
They were like, "Oh, it's no big deal."
Cool.
And they actually sat people after we sat down, so
really?
their 8 o'clock cutoff may have been a lie.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, we did that, and then it was a lot of fun. It was just a good time.
It sounded like fun. I was a little jealous. I didn't get to hang out and experience, but
as someone that's worked the market, it was definitely more fun than the market.
I don't doubt it.
But we'll have more to do. I mean, this isn't, I'm in talks with a few people.
Yeah.
Which is funny because one of the places that I reached out to was a local distillery, and I had sent you the screenshot. And so they had in their story, they were like, give us recommendations on what you would like to have, events at our distillery. And we've never talked to them before because, to be honest with you, they're pretty low on my list of distilleries that I even care about. I don't care. And so I reached out and I was like, we do whiskey and cheese tastings. That'd be pretty cool. I could bring they're called cheesemongers. So I can bring our cheesemonger and we could do.
Yeah.
I didn't say any of that. I just said, we do whiskey and cheese classes and they're really fun. And they replied, thanks for the idea or something like that. And I was like, it's not what I was trying to do, but whatever.
Well, let them figure it out on their own then if that's how they want to run with it.
Yeah, well, what's funny is one of the local companies that works with them is someone else that I tagged in that photo because I want to do something with them too.
Sure.
And so they reached out immediately and they
really?
want to do stuff with it, asking us pricing and stuff. But
nice.
And I was like, we've done it.
I think I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, we've done it from free to $150 a person to, we can do $5,000 a person if you want to go find some expensive bourbon.
Yeah. Whatever you're into.
Yeah. It just, depends on the class. But yeah, so that was an exciting week.
Yeah, that's cool.
For both of us, I guess.
It was busy. And then we had, you've probably listened at this point to the previous week's podcast. We had Roxanne and Karen guys down, which was cool. You guys had a good time.
Torsten and Ethan, yeah.
Yep.
And then after you left, because we were all kind of like wrapping up to go, you know?
Yeah, I remember that.
And I had done another pour, and you were like, meh, and you left. We sat here and watched football for like 4 hours.
You sat here and watched football? Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Watched the Clemson game, and then we were like, let's go, because we were talking about whiskeys that I have at the house. And they're like, well, the girls are at Folly. Like, let's just go there. And I was like, come on.
Yeah.
And then we called them, and they were like, let's go home and take a shower first. And we all were like, it's good seeing you, man. And next time.
That's funny.
You know how women, when they...
Oh, yeah.
Being nice. But And then we leave Thursday for...
Kentucky
again, which is going to be fun.
It's going to be a good time.
For sure.
Benefit dinner for Camp Hero, supporting Rocco and everything he's got going on up there.
Yep, and we'll be bringing more Simply Stogies. Yeah, if you're part of the Simply Stogies people and you're like, they still haven't done the cigar thing, it's coming.
It's coming. It's
a lot.
It's a lot to go over and a lot to cover, and we want to do it justice.
And we're using it in many events. Your light's on.
Oh, jeez.
We're using it in many events, so we're taking it to this dinner as well. We're going to try and actually get some footage of people smoking them this time because everything was just so dark. But I assume there would be like a well-lit smoking area there.
Yeah, if nothing else, we'll bring a light and put a light out.
We could bring that light. Just run up in somebody's face.
Yeah, it'll be all right.
Smoke your cigar.
Yeah, talk about it.
Yeah. So it's coming. Don't think we forgot. We definitely didn't. It's hard to. We still have 140 cigars, which I haven't had any. You haven't either. Outside of there.
No.
So
nope.
They were going to where we said they would go.
That's right. That's right.
I did sell like 40 on eBay.
Just kidding.
That's a joke. But yeah. So what's next? You have a topic.
Yeah. So I had an interesting topic that I came across related to whitetails. It's really related to hunting in general. It has to do with game cameras. So because we've talked about game cameras a couple different times. We've debated the cellular versus, whatever. We've done all that. But just a couple months ago, and I had seen this and sort of forgot about it, but just a couple months ago, Arizona Game and Fish Department or Commission voted unanimously to ban trail cameras. Period.
The whole state?
All trail cameras.
Wow.
It says that they voted unanimously to ban trail cameras for the purpose of taking or aiding in the take of wildlife or locating wildlife for the purpose of taking or aiding in the take of wildlife. Now, just a couple years previously, they had banned, as several other states have, the use of cellular trail cams. But Arizona is the first state to just outright ban them entirely, which is wild to me.
It feels like it'd be impossible to enforce. You could the cell phone thing because you could look at cell phone plans for tree cameras.
If you really wanted to, yeah, you could figure all that out. But their reason for it is that they feel it violates the fair chase doctrine, which pays respect, according to this, the article, respect to the traditions of hunting and angling by emphasizing the development of an individual's skills rather than reliance on practices or technologies that overwhelm the quarry's ability to elude detection or take.
Well,
So when you say it that way, I'm like, okay, I get it.
I'm not a huge trail camera person anyway.
Neither of us are.
So it's...
But I certainly see the benefit for, let's say, cellular trail cams. If you have a private property or a property where you can't get to easily, it makes it easy to see what's going on out there, right, if you're trying to manage a piece of property. That being said, I also think there is some merit to this in some cases, especially on public land, right, where you have, and this is one of the points that the article goes on to make, is that with people putting out trail cameras, you have folks running up into these mountains and into these watering holes and water sources where elk are and mule deer and whitetail deer, trying to, well, Arizona doesn't, I don't know if Arizona has whitetail deer. Regardless, people and more foot traffic bring cameras out, going and checking on them, and it's just more people in the woods than would need to be.
I think if they said no public land trail cameras, I think I'm all for that.
I think I would
because I would never even consider doing that.
Yeah, I think I would be okay with that too.
Because hunting public land is a whole nother beast.
It's different. It's more challenging.
Yeah,
and I think that
should be left to whoever is successful on public land. Should be the guy that put the time in, not the guy that went out and put cameras.
Not the guy that put a camera out in June with a little solar charger, the wireless transmitter, and is able to see when the elk are moving and knows he has a tag for that unit and goes in when it's nice and easy. I just think that takes away from the experience.
I think I'm in with that.
But banning trail cameras entirely, I don't know if I'm okay with that. There's other uses for it.
I think it's difficult to enforce only public land.
Yeah.
Because then what about the guy that has property that leads up to public land?
Absolutely, yeah. There's some
but then even then, that's still private property.
Yeah, it's private property. It's a tough line to toe or whatever. And it's states that have banned the mobile or the wireless trail cams have had some pushback, but not too much, I don't think.
I think it's also, I'm not a fan of making more laws. So there's another. I think we have enough.
We have a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting thing. The reason why it's interesting is it's like hunting. Everybody always says God-given right. I was born with the.
Yeah.
So whatever method I use for take, but trail cameras, I feel as though that is a different topic. Because that's not a weapon. It is
right.
It's kind of like snooping.
Sure.
Yeah,
That's
a weird topic.
It's a piece of technology, right? It's illegal to use, in almost every state you can't use drones to spot and find deer. In Alaska and places where you fly in, you can't hunt the same day you fly in. These are all things to limit using technology and things to give you a huge advantage over your quarry. But as far as
Raven crossbow, 100-yard
rights are concerned,
100-yard bow season.
Yeah, and then there's other right, there's other technologies being used that you bring into question, like, are these ethical? Are they crossing the line? It's hard to, in some cases, it's hard to justify some things that you see in the industry. But at the same time, if those things are helping people get in the woods more often, if they're being taxed in a way that is putting money back into conservation, is it totally a terrible thing? I don't know. I like the points that they made, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Especially with regard to public land. They're talking about, hunters going out and putting these trail cameras out and then going out to check them, because remember, they're not cellular anymore. They're not allowed to use them. So they're going out and they're putting more pressure in these hunting areas, more pressure on watering holes. They're pushing animals away from their natural resources. It's also affecting other people, hikers and campers and people, because now these people are out in the woods more. Hikers are walking by and having their picture taken. It also, they said it also has increased the number of conflicts between people. So like people,
this is mine.
Yeah, so things like that.
I was here in March.
So it's interesting. Now the ban is supposed to be in effect. They're aiming for the 1st of January 2022, but they said it's going to depend on the implementation of all the training, all the awareness, and writing all the specific bylaws and guidelines.
It'd be super easy to find
go.
too, if you wanted to. I mean, just they make equipment that detects
Cameras.
things. Things that put out signals. It'd be super easy for them to enforce.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if you had a camera out and you didn't know that this law came in place? You should read local laws. If you don't read local laws, it's kind of your fault. But could you imagine go out to your camera and there's just like a DNR guy sitting there and he's like, turn around, put your hands against your back.
Yeah.
It's over.
Because they always tell you ignorance is not an excuse.
Nope, it's not.
And if
it's your responsibility as a hunter to know the rules.
100%. And for those of you that aren't aware, hopefully that's none of you, most states put out a yearly book. You can pick them up usually in actual physical form, and they're always almost online, and it gives the regulations, rules, and seasons and bag limits and all that stuff. And usually up front is a section that's like what's new, like what's changed. And that highlights all the
it's
things.
Usually a long section.
It's not, because laws get broken, laws get tiptoed around, little loopholes get found, and they're always they're always closing things and closing loopholes and figuring out what they need to do to fix stuff. So it's good to pay attention to.
Yeah, it's different. I think that I'm okay with that law. It's a weird knee jerk to say even on private land just outlawed in the state.
Yeah.
Could you imagine it's like in Virginia when you cross Virginia lines? It's like radar detectors are illegal here.
It always freaked me out when I was younger.
You cross over and it's like no radar detectors, no trail cameras
ever anywhere.
Yeah. That would be. Think about all the. That's it's probably a big part of the market too.
Makes me wonder how much money they're going to how much money have they spent enforcing and dealing with, the conflicts between hunters and dealing with answering, whatever issues the trail cameras have brought up. And this is not, I'm not speaking of from a conservation standpoint or what's right or wrong, just from a monetary perspective. How much have they spent dealing with those issues? How much are they going to spend on the campaign to get the information out, put signs up, because they're going to have to put signs up, and then dealing with, I guess if they're writing tickets, it's revenue generating, so I guess they save money there.
I just think about all the people that are going to get hammered for this.
I didn't look up or see what the fines are or anything like that, but I'm sure just like anywhere else.
Did you find this on accident, or this is a big story?
So I came across it a couple months ago, and I was like, I need to bring that up, because it wasn't around the same time we brought up the wireless trail camera, or whatever, and I forgot about it. It just kind of slipped through the cracks with everything else we had going on and getting ready for the Kentucky hunt and everything. And then I just came across it again. Somebody posted it on Twitter, and I saw it, and I was like, oh, I need to look at that. And I did not realize that they had, I knew that Arizona was moving towards banning, but I thought it was the cellular thing. Because Montana, Wyoming, I think, and a couple of others have already done the no cellular trail cams. I thought that's what it was. And then I read the article today. I was like, oh, they just banned them outright. And they're the first state to do that, period.
That's interesting. Huh. I wonder if it's probably going to catch on. Leave us a comment on what you think of that. Maybe we'll do a full episode on it, talk about what states do it and why.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see what people think for sure.
Yeah. If you like it, we'll research it and go further into those weeds.
Indeed. That's all I had for the whole trail camera thing. I just thought it was wild.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think that I'm okay with it. I mean, I don't know.
But you and I, like we said, we aren't huge trail camera
neither of us
people,
really.
so
I think it's. See, I look at like some of the properties that we hunt. Like trail cameras are almost mandatory there.
Yeah, it is, and it's when you're sharing land with or private property, and you're sharing. It's useful to have that intel so you can manage your property.
Yeah.
Rocco's property, he's bringing people out to show them a good time. You want to be able to put people where the deer are, but private property versus public, I think that's where mine is. Like, I don't have as much of an issue with what you do on your private land, but having armies of people go out and putting cameras out and going out to check it's just a lot of unnecessary pressure.
I would have never thought anyone actually did that. That's a little ridiculous.
Yeah, and I thought about our elk hunting trip. What if we had the opportunity to drop into that bowl and put cameras all over the place to figure out where the elk were moving before we went in there?
Yeah.
Would we have had an advantage? Sure. But if everybody else was allowed to do the same thing before we had an opportunity to go out there, then The elk have been pressured out of there. The people have taken,
Yeah.
a bunch of elk already. It's just kind of an unfair advantage to folks that are really trying to. We spent a ton of time doing e-scouting. We spent the whole first day and a half figuring out the lay. Like, that's hunting.
Yeah, we walked a lot. We did exactly what that article said, that it was the fair
chase.
Yeah, fair chase.
Go out and figure it out.
Yeah.
Read the sign. Look
Which
at
is
the
half
terrain.
the fun anyway.
Yeah,
I mean, if you
I love that.
go
part
on
of
a
it.
safari, if you just want to pull the trigger, you probably shouldn't be into hunting anyway. I think most people would agree with that are hunters. It's the thrill of the chase.
Agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, I'm excited about this weekend. Mainly because the girls get to see the spot.
Yeah, I am excited, and I've been talking about it since I've been back. I'm very excited for the wife to be able to see. She's driven through Kentucky just like a lot of us have, but to stop and actually
go through that little town. And we'll go see Linda. Or Linda's making bourbon pecan pie, and she's making Andy something without chocolate. I can't remember. Oh, bourbon apple pie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So Linda cooks with all Buffalo Trace, just regular liter size Buffalo Trace, just gloves it in there. But her food's really good. You didn't get a chance to eat. Oh, you had some of her pie.
I did have some of the pie. Two pies. She had some peanut butter, chocolate, bourbon.
That was what Rick wanted.
Good Lord, is that good?
It's money. But she's bringing it to Rocco's dinner. Also,
awesome.
We have. So Thursday we're gonna drive up. Do you know what time we're leaving?
I don't.
Can we leave earlier?
How early is earlier?
Like, it's 8 hours. So
yeah, we'll leave early.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, we'll figure that out. Probably not the best time.
This is probably not the best time to figure it out. But we'll figure it out.
And then we're gonna go up there. So we have time. I wanted to run through McKee since it's kind of on the way.
Sure.
It's not really. It's an offset. But anyway, Friday we're busy. Then we have the dinner, and then Saturday I was thinking, I don't know what we want to do. If we want to do a distillery tour, or if we want to go to whiskey bars and try some like Target whiskeys that are bourbons.
Yeah.
I don't know what the girls would like more. Andy's been to a couple of them there.
Has she?
Have you been to?
I've been to one distillery.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I've been to several breweries.
Yeah.
But I mean, it'd be cool to do maybe we do pick one distillery tour to do, and then go try some bourbons or
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
That'd be fun. But Saturday I think will be a fun day. But we can show him around. If we don't have time Friday, we can go back down Saturday.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it'll be a good time, and it's kind of cool. This will be our first like us four trip somewhere.
Yeah, it will be.
Which is wild to think about.
Yeah, it is. We've yeah, it is our first trip, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was just thinking in my head as I said it that I don't think it was, but
most people, their best friends like that, their best friends and their wives hang out all the time. We're like the anomaly.
Well,
I don't really hang out with anybody though.
We're all super busy, and we're the same way. We don't have a whole lot of like hangout type of friends outside of, so it's, I guess I'm not surprised, honestly. It is what it is, but every time we've done something, we've always met one or the other there.
Yeah.
One of us has already been there, like me coming to your wedding, or you coming to mine, or whatever the case has been. It's always been one of us traveling to meet the other person to do a thing.
Yep.
But we've never done this before.
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it will
Looking forward to it. And then we have the Snipers Uknown challenge coming up.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen all of Lariat's videos?
I've been watching several of them. How new? Like today?
Like the one that he just did with, I think it was Soul Collector was the guy.
Oh no, I don't think I saw that one.
Dude, it's funny. It's not funny. I mean, it's badass, right? But he had sent me a bunch of pictures.
Oh yes, the video of them like slow-mo rolling through a building. Yeah.
So he sent me this picture, and I'll put it up on the screen.
Oh my.
So I did this. So for those just listening, it's Lamar Lariat doing a pose with a weapon system, and he's got like this "what's going on" face, like it's a funny picture. And so then I overwrote Thin Red Lamarticus instead of Thin Red Line, but it's funny. But I'm looking forward to it. But I guess we're gonna be ROs at the Snipers Uknown Challenge.
That's fun.
Yeah, so we'll be able to be right there with the boys, experiencing all of it. We're teaching a whiskey class that Friday night.
Yeah.
To the sponsors.
That'd be cool.
That'd be fun. And then the barracks. They literally have like barracks, so we'll be sleeping in But they have rooms, so it's like 2 little twin-sized beds in each room, and I think it's a shared latrine.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Andy's going to love it.
Oh, yeah, she's really going to love it.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell her any of that. But and it's her birthday and our 12th year wedding anniversary that weekend. So that's what good husbands do, take their wives to shooting competitions.
And to stay in a barracks.
With shared latrines. But it'll be fun, I think. So we're gearing up for the holiday season and pumping out some stuff.
Yeah.
And we are not ready probably, but we're
getting there.
Lots going on. And then we're really excited for Seaweed coming up in February.
Yeah.
So there's more in the talks of it. So we're going to have a lot more integral part in the Brittle Bank Park section, which we've discussed. But I don't think we're ready to go into full details yet.
No, we'll save that for a while because, our luck will...
Yeah, something will happen.
Something will happen and something will fall through. So,
or they'll close it for COVID or something.
We'll wait and hold on to those details and share those with you kind folks when it's a little closer, I think, and things are a little bit more cemented in place.
Yeah, but we are recruiting help. So if you live in the Charleston area and you want to help us and you know a little thing or two about us or the whiskey industry, we've probably actually good because I've already been asking people, but Colton's going to help us. I got the neighbor helping, and his fiance is interested in helping, and maybe Andy's sister-in-law.
Cool.
Which I don't know what that is to me. My wife's brother's wife. Nothing.
I don't know.
My extended sister.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I don't know what that term is.
We should make it up. Leave us know in the comments.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what to call it.
My creative juices are not flowing today.
Yeah, we've been slammed the past 2 weeks. We got a lot going on, but it's also cowboy boot weather. Kinda.
Wearing your shit kickers?
I am. Good. Yeah, they got a little wet today, but that's what they're for.
That's what they're for.
Then I don't think we really have anything else for this episode.
I got something really important to ask.
Okay.
What are you wearing to this thing on Friday?
I'm going to wear jeans, what I normally wear.
Yeah.
Jeans, boots, and
maybe a nice
way
button up. Offline.
Maybe a nice button up. Oh, I can say that now that is done and it has been picked up by nobody wants their name mentioned. Trying to promote people, and they're like, no, please don't. Because they don't want other people to reach out and be like, hey, give me the same deal. So Jim Beam has generously... We reached out, so we're doing the smoked old fashioned for Rocco's dinner. There was like 400 people coming or something along those lines. So we're doing full flight smoking boards instead of individual blocks, custom made. Bring a bunch of torches. Hopefully their glassware fits. We still don't have a size on the glassware, but if it's a straight all whiskey glass, it'll fit. So we reached out to Bittermilk. They hooked us up. We, through a channel or two, reached out to Jim Beam.
Yep.
And Jim Beam gave us 48 bottles of the extra aged, the black label Jim Beam.
Oh, really?
48 bottles of that. Which is like 680 cocktails, I think, if I did the math right. And they also gave us a bunch of cups and napkins and some other stuff that I don't know what they are, but the guy that got it is putting together packages for auction and stuff. So I assume it's
nice,
pretty decent things.
That is very cool.
So that is really cool that Jim Beam stepped up for that. And the guy that got it from Jim Beam doesn't want to be mentioned, and the guy that picked it up for us from Jim Beam also doesn't want to be mentioned. But it's done. I've seen pictures. It's real.
If you listen to this and you know who you are, thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you helping us out with this. It's not really helping us. You're helping out Rocco and this veteran charity dinner to make an extra special. Yeah,
it's something that I think we both knew on the surface, getting in, when we started this company, that the hunting and the whitetail industry and the whiskey kind of bourbon community are all very nice people. Yeah. But we are continually surprised and reminded of just how nice and genuinely giving people are willing to help out great causes. So yeah, thanks.
But there's also a lot of great causes out there. So the fact that they picked the one that we're involved with, that means a lot. We really appreciate it. And we have one person's name, and I'm not sure if I can mention her or not, but there will be a handwritten thank you to her from all of us and Rocco and all that to be given. And maybe something else for her. I don't know. But yeah, very kind. We're super excited. And with that, I think we're done. So you can find us on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube, all at Whiskey and Whitetails.
Yes.
We have videos coming out that are not podcasts. They're just things that we do. Sometimes we clip good parts of a podcast and put them in there. And then sometimes we will do like a quick 20-minute of a full hour episode that goes on Patreon. So we have a Patreon page as well, which is just patreon.com/Whiskey and Whitetails.
That's correct. That's where you, the viewer, listener, can support us. And in return, get some cool things, get access to some cool things. But more importantly, you get to help dictate and influence what we have going on here. It's your opportunity to help produce what we do. So
one of our tiers is EP. It's an executive producer, and that is a real thing. We have a Whiskey and Whitetails LinkedIn page, and if you are an executive producer or you want to be, you can head over to Patreon and do that, and then accept our invitation on LinkedIn to be part of our company, and it comes as real. We give you real credentials to being part of the company. So you can look at a couple guys that have already, well, more than a couple people that have already done it, and we repost our stuff all the time as our EPs. They're helping us guide this content.
That's right.
Also, some of the tiers have a shirt, and we are coming up on the 3rd month of patronage. So all of you that have been there for 3 months now, you will be getting a shirt this month. But I will say, I've already reached out, and there's some issues with getting stuff. As you know, almost everything does. Don't worry. It's coming.
Yeah.
We'll get
supply chain
as soon as we can. It's out of our hands.
It's China.
It's China. Maybe. I don't know who it is. I don't even know where the shirts come from. They may not be China.
I just blame everything on China.
Yeah, could. We also looked at doing a run of hats, and we could not get any of the hats in the color that we wanted.
Yeah.
So that might be coming.
China's buying all the real estate, buying all the hats.
They're buying all the water. They bought. Isn't Suntory? No, never mind.
I don't know.
I don't remember who they are. I think it might be Japanese.
Suntory's Japanese, yeah.
Yeah, so never mind. They're not buying all the whiskey. We had Chinese whiskey, and it was not good.
It's not good at all.
So they're not doing that right. But, yeah, so you can get us on there, and then if you want anything from our shop, right now everything is on sale. And you can also use code podcast, and you get 20% off.
20% off. Take advantage of that stuff now, because the holidays are getting ready to start, and we love everybody, but we're also a business.
Yeah, if you don't know how sales work.
Sale prices are getting ready to go away as the holidays move in, and we move into our busy season. So it does two things. One, obviously, it helps us generate revenue, but when things aren't super duper cheap, it also slows the number of sales so we can keep up with production, which we're trying to get ahead of now, but it's inevitable that we're going to get sold out and be sold out at some point.
5 days last year, so
trying to avoid that this year. Hopefully we can get ahead of it so that maybe instead of every 5 days, it's every 20. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. But yeah, the sales.
Good problems to have.
If you see them and you're like, oh, they're on sale a lot. It's like, yeah, that's during the summer.
Yep.
We do not run sales during the, we just don't.
Yep. The prices will be whatever they are.
Yep.
But
the code podcast will still work.
Of course.
But other than that, nope. So if you want to get discounted and use code podcast, now's the time. Or don't. Christmas is coming.
Yeah, there's no stopping it.
All right. Well, thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. If you're new,
thanks for joining.
Yeah, give us a like, leave a comment,
if you've
subscribe.
And if you've been here a while, thanks for continuing to support. Like Matt said, like, comment, subscribe. Tell your friends about us. Tell your grandma about us.
Grandma will love it.
Tell your kids about us.
Yep. Told my kids.
I don't know. So until next time, cheers.
Cheers. Oh, we only have one glass of whiskey this episode.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's all right. Cheers, everybody. Now hit that button.